Okay, this is the second video, and in this video, we are going to go more in depth into the project toolkit. And this is new for this year. It kind of builds on some of the things of last year, but refines them a little bit. And I think makes a overall better experience for the kids. So we're just going to go through this whole thing right here, and then I'm going to, at the end, we're going to do a little exercise kind of what is an STLP project and what isn't an STLP project. So we're going to start right here with the project toolkit, and we'll just load that up. And so design thinking, rubric, scoring guides, resources, standards, and more. So there are 4 sections to this, really. Used to think of it as 3. So one is launch. In other words, how do you get ready for this part to be a qualifier to present it? Once you are qualified, once you get through that presenting process, what do you expect in level 2, and then what to expect in level 3. The thing about it is all 3 of these levels are different. They have a different focus to them. So it's kind of important that you know that, and that the kids know that there's a different focus at each level point. And then the 4th is just the champions. So projects, and this is kind of the 4 things it is. The project cycle that begins at the school. Uh, there's an investigation. There's iteration and implementation. Select projects that will represent your school. So this is the planning. This level I is basically the planning for level 1. So level 1 is the presentation, the tools, and the video conference, and then use the rubric. And we'll go over the rubric here in just a minute. And then if you pass through here, you're on to level 2. Level 2 is live at Lexington. It also utilizes digital tools like the project pitch. It's in person, and it's a different rubric. The rubric is different in level 2 than it is in level 1. Level 3, this happens in the same day. These happen kind of back to back. So there are literally hundreds. There's over 100, sometimes probably over 200 semifinal projects that make it to level 2. 2 to 3 is the big cut down. That's if you've made it to level 3, that's big time. There's not many people, less than a third, maybe. I think in the 12 years we've done this, we've only had, I want to say, 2 projects go to level 3, maybe 3, but I don't think it's more than 2. So that's live. It demonstrates mastery. It shares a passion with the judges, and all that. I'm going to close this out because a lot of stuff's down here on this bottom. And it's all conversation based. It's one-on-one. The judges ask questions. In this one, you notice there's no rubric. This one's all about the interaction between the judge and the students. You get like 4 kids that know this thing inside out, backwards, forwards, and upside down, and tell the judges about it. And then this next level thing is there are 4 winners in projects at state. One elementary project, one middle school project, one high school project, and then one project of the overall best use of technology from any of the 3 divisions. It's usually a high school, sometimes it's a middle school. I don't know that I can remember an elementary has ever won the best te- technical project. That's the way they put it. Is it's called the best technical project, but it's what the judges think is the best use of technology in a project. So there are 4 winners. Those 4 winners go all expenses paid to the ISTE conference, which is an international technology conference. Uh, this year, it's always in a different city. This year, it's in New Orleans. So it would be the winners get an all, and they present their project at ISTE, which is like a half hour out of 3 days, and the rest of the time they can do whatever they want. So it's a really nice thing, but it's tough to get there. We came close the last year before the pandemic. We came darn close. Uh, we had, if you kind of looked at the way it worked out, they look at when they look at it, there were 3. They took, I think there were 3 level 3 elementary schools, and so we were either the second one or the third one. So I mean, we came darn close on that one, but hopefully we'll get one of these days. All right. So what are the key elements? So why are we having projects? And you can read all that, but essentially projects are ways that you can show a way that technology can be helpful to the community, and it also helps students think, work collaborative, works on the 4 C's, collaboration, all those kind of things. Uh, Problem solving, it gives students voice and choice. Presentation experience, that's one of the big ones. It's it's pretty darn impressive when you can, as a judge. I've judged regionals, I don't know, probably 15 times, and it's pretty darn impressive when a second grader can get up and talk to an adult they don't know and not have any real level of anxiety. It's a pretty impressive thing to see, and that's kind of one of the things that STLP kind of fosters is that ability to do presentations. And so one of the things for projects that you want to do is get kids used to talking, especially in level 2. Not so much level 1, a little bit to level 1 now, because it'll be like over a Zoom type meeting or Google Meet. But to be able to talk to adults they don't know And so, what would be helpful is if you would get your kids, like if they're mostly, um, let's say fifth graders, that they go and maybe present their ideas to the second grade teachers, to the principal, to the PTO president, uh, lunchroom ladies, just just different, different grade levels, different groups they don't know. Um, central office people are really good about, if you ask them, would you get on a Zoom meeting and just let us uh, take 10 minutes out of your day. Could you just let my STLP kids present their project to you, your instructional coaches, and me, other digital learning coaches, just to get them used to presenting their project to other people and fielding questions and being able to answer questions about their project. So it engages the Kentucky academic standards. There are new Kentucky academic standards for technology, and kids have to actually show mastery of them before they can graduate, although nobody's really figured out what that means yet. But anyway, so as a these standards speak to making students empowered learners, digital citizens, knowledge constructors, innovative designers, computational thinker, creative communicator, and a global collaborator. If you also look at our profile of a graduate, these said different ways, but these all go to our graduate profile work. And also for the work we're doing in blended learning and things we're doing with thinking strategies and just all that kind of stuff. All of that works into the projects for STLP. So, level I, this is new. They haven't really haven't had level I before, but level I could also be level P. It's level preparation. It's the preparation level. So I like level I better. I guess that's kind of cool that it's investigation, inspiration, iteration, and implementation. So they investigate. What are we going to do? What are we going to think about? What do we want to do? What are some things that we want to think about? And what's a problem at our school that we can solve? That's basically what this is about. What is a problem? What is some situation that we could help, and technology could help work with this? One of the best ones I saw that kind of answers that was probably about 4 years ago. Um, is a high school. I can't remember where it was, somewhere in the western part of the state. And what the problem that they had was the way the traffic and the buses and things worked with their school. Their buses came at different times, and you didn't know when your bus would be there. It's not like ours. All our buses are all lined up and ready to go. Theirs, the buses would come, and maybe bus 14 would come first one day, and bus 1 would come last that day, or whatever. And it was really hard to tell when your bus is going to be there, if you had time to go to the concession stand, if whatever. So this STLP group, they came up with the idea to put these beacons on the buses that went to an app. It was like a GPS thing, and you had an app that was on your phone, and they also would run the app on TVs throughout the school, and it would show part of the app showed a map where all the buses were, and then it had a list of which bus was going to come first, which bus, and when the bus entered the parking lot, it would say bus 14 is now here, or bus 3 is now here. And so that way kids throughout the school would know when their bus was coming and they could be on the bus and ready to go. So that was a they solved a problem. They used an app. That was their technology, and they shared it with their community through um, the app and using the televisions. So you can use these resource ideas if you want, like design thinking, how you would kind of design something. You have a problem, uh, identify the problem, identify the uh, current solutions. How can you make the current solution better? There's a really good um, video on YouTube about a group of kids re-engineering a shopping cart that goes through all of this. I'm not sure exactly where it is, but it was part of a contest, and how to redesign a shopping cart. And so here's some tools. And then the inspiration, they can look at other projects, entries, and championship to kind of see some things they've done. What did they think of? How did they do it? And there's just all kinds of stuff. I mean, some of them are as simple as doing a broadcast to one I remember in middle school. They did Little Mermaid, and they kind of the whole, I don't know, eighth grade or whatever. But special ed kids, especially FMD kids, weren't able to participate because many of them are nonverbal and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, they rigged up all these technology things with like androids and stuff, and like the FMD kids could on their like some of them have those boards. I can't remember what they're called, but they press a certain thing if they're hungry, if they want. Well, they had a thing that they could press it, and it would like make a drum sound, or it would make a tambourine sound or something, and so they could like do it and play like they were playing a tambourine just by tapping on their board and different things like that. And that was really cool. So they were able to be included in where they weren't included before. And then you have resource ideas, different presentation tools, and then fill in the blanks of the level one implementation statement, which is this thing. That's it. This is it. This is If you fill in these blanks, if you can fill in these blanks, you're ready to go to project to level one. Our project is the problem challenge it addresses is we picked it because the technology we'll use is. So let me give you an example, and this wasn't one I came up with, but this is one that they kind of used in Jefferson County to get people thinking about it. So this also goes to what is and what isn't a um, an STLP project. So you can't just say, our project is Minecraft. We're going to do something with Minecraft. You just can't do that. What you can do, though, is think of a way that you can use Minecraft to work with a problem to go along. So instead of we're just going to do something with Minecraft, you might think of, well, the problem that we have here during the pandemic, and let's go back to this would be one during the pandemic. During the pandemic, we weren't able to get out and play with each other and build that sense of community that you get from playing kickball and doing that kind of stuff. So we want to do something to relaunch or to reconnect to that feeling of community. Well, our project is we're going to make a virtual playground in Minecraft. That's our project. Our project is to make a virtual playground in Minecraft. The challenge that it addresses is our inability to get together and play and connect with each other. We picked it because we want to get back to that feeling of being able to play with our friends and being able to get that feeling of being together. The technology we'll use is Minecraft. So that would be our implementation statement. That could be our implementation statement. The one I did about the buses. Our project is making an app so we can tell when our buses have arrived. The challenge it addresses is our buses never come to school at the same time. Students are in different places. They don't know when the buses come. They miss their bus. And we picked it because we want everybody to we need to get our buses on time and everybody get home safely. The technology we'll use is MIT App Inventor or whatever it is they use to make the app. So if you can answer these questions, if you can get that, you're ready for the preparation part. Okay. So now this is the rubric. This is what you're going to be doing your level 1, 2. What is STL project addresses real life concerns, issues, or challenges the students identify. This year, the level 1 project was redesigned to be welcoming to the project plan just starting, flexible to accommodate evolving ideas, less time intensive, respectful of the challenges, make it easy for teams to participate. All right, so this is a very important piece that I haven't really stressed yet. Level 1, regional, December 6th through 10th is all about we are going to. We think this would be a good idea if. We think we can do this. All of it is you haven't done anything yet. It's all thinking. Maybe you might have put out a survey by December 6th. Maybe. And as you kind of firm up, as you get closer to April the 20th, it goes from we will to we did. Well, we thought we were going to use this app, but we decided to use this one because when we did our survey, it wasn't what we thought it was going to be. We thought people were going to do, say, X, and they said Y. So all those different kinds of things. So then you're going to use different kinds of collaborative tools to brainstorm things. And there are different things about brainstorming, and some people like it and some people don't. But kind of the best thing for school age kids is that when they brainstorm, there's no such thing as a bad idea. Nobody's idea is stupid. Everybody's idea is just as valid as anybody else's. And then they can use different ways to share those. They can do it on a Padlet. If we're having after school, we get a big piece of whiteboard, big piece of poster paper, bulletin board paper, write ideas down, put them on post-it notes, move the post-it notes around, whatever. There's all different kinds of ways. Like even here it says you can do it inside of Minecraft if you want to. You could do things and show things inside of Minecraft. So there's all different kinds of ways to collaborate together. But the thing is, you want to collaborate. You can have up. You can enter 3 projects per school. So if you have 12 kids, they can work. You can have 3 on a project, or maybe one project needs only 2 and one needs 6, or however, it doesn't matter the number of children you have working on the project. But you can enter up to 3 if or a gold school. In 20 in 2019 2020, you can have 4 projects. We only, according to STLP state records, we only had 1 gold school, and that school is Bullet Lick. Uh, I actually thought we had 2. I thought Maryville was gold, and that might be something you want to check on. But anyway, so there's the whiteboard, all that kind of stuff. Then, like it says, then there's only 3. That's kind of the next, the select one, the 3 to represent a school, and maybe you want to have 6 or 8. You got people throwing ideas out, and there's like 8 of them, and y'all, maybe people kind of vote blindly or something of what's the best 3, and then not just the people that worked on those 3, but other people can help them with that, so everybody kind of gets together on the 3 projects, or you select a group of people that do the the projects, and then maybe the other groups are working on digital judging online things. There's a lot of video projects in there that would take a lot of people to work with, and different things. So there's a lot of ability for people and student participation in projects, and especially between level 1 project and the digital online projects. There's a lot, and then on its state, which we'll get into later. So the next thing you want to look at is the pitch. That's where right up here under the pitch. And so what this is, it's a digitally based elevator pitch. And the reason elevator pitches are real big in tech community, in other words, the way it was always explained to me is you're at a conference, you get on an elevator and there's Bill Gates and he's got money to burn and you want to convince him in the time it takes to go from the 13th floor to the first floor why he should invest in your company. That's the elevator pitch. So short, concise, to the point, get to the heart of the matter. So you can choose however you want to do a pitch. You could do a slideshow, you could do a screencastify, you could just get on and talk about it. It needs to use some kind of digitally based elevator pitch. So not you just can't get on the Zoom and talk about it. You have to have something that they show. It could be a stop animation. It could be a video. It could be a slideshow. It could be a play. You could have maybe a little interaction of, this is what we need and this is what we need to do. Um, it could be a video. It could be, like I said, an animation, any kind, some digital representation of it. Um, and then you want to hit the questions on the rubric. You want to make sure you hit all the things on the rubric. Total time with the judges is 10 minutes, and you want to leave time for questions. So the presentation of it should be less than 10 minutes. I would put it probably no less. I don't think I would do much more than 6 minutes, maybe 8 if it was something that was really, really complicated and it was just going to take that much. But you only got 10 minutes. Now it leaves 2 minutes for questions. I would want to leave probably at least 4 minutes for questions just to make sure that there were a lot of them, that they got them all in. I know 6 minutes doesn't sound like a lot, but 6 minutes is a lot. Um, so that you just want to make sure you have time for questions. So you don't want to take the whole 10 minutes on the presentation. Okay. And then this is the part that I, a lot of kids are, they kind of like my father in law. When you ask him what time it is, he wants to tell you how to make a watch. And so you have to really keep it concise and to the point. So you want to, you want to get people excited about it. Why? When I do the game design challenge, and one of the things that we always ask kids when they do, oh, I'm going to make this great first person shooter, and a question is, so what? Why is that important? And that's, get you want to get people excited. You don't want people saying, okay, why are you doing that? You want to be excited. You want them to get excited for you. And then should use the guiding questions in the update level 1 rubric. All right, so let's look at the level 1 rubric. There's the level 1 rubric. You'll notice that it has project title, but you don't get any points for project title. But the project needs to have a title. So, on the one that we were talking about, it could be Don't Miss the Bus or Get on the Bus. That might be the project title. You want it to be catchy. This can change to level two. You just want to call it the bus project. Then maybe later on it's get on the bus, Gus, or whatever you want to call it, or our Minecraft playground. Then maybe after that it would be the Old Mill digital playground or whatever you want to call it. So, but you don't get any points for a title, but it's got to have a title. Um, so, what's the challenge issue? What's the question? So, why is it important? Who will it benefit? Make sure, and so when you're doing your pitch, you want to answer all these. Okay. How will you be a good digital citizenship? In other words, you don't say, well, we're going to make a digital dance party because we need to get people moving around. We're too sedentary. So, what we're going to do is we're going to play a bunch of Disney songs on YouTube and pipe that out to everybody, and they can get it in their classroom and they can dance to it. Well, you've broken about 15 copyright violations right there. So that's not being a good digital citizenship, being a good digital citizen. So it's, how are we going to use resources that we own or that we have fair use to, or they're under a Creative Commons license. We're going to take uh, the music that came from a Creative Commons license, or we're going to use Band Lab and we're going to make our own music, or those kind of things. We don't want to say, well, we're going to copy this from here and use all this copyrighted protective stuff from Netflix and Disney and everywhere else. And so then the next one is um, what technology tools did you use to get up there? Maybe it's just one tool, maybe it's a whole bunch of tools. We had to use 3D design, we used CAD stuff, we used engraving machine, we used a 3D printer, we et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It can be one, it can be a bunch of them. Innovative. What will the project solve? Challenge. What's it gonna do? Like, what? This is kind of the meat of it right here. These two right here. These and what outcome do you want it to have? What's the goal? What's it gonna do? And what's the goal? If it doesn't have a goal, there's no purpose. What's the purpose of your these two right here? I would spend the bulk of my time answering these two things right here. I'd kind of That's kind of the introduction. Our project is called. We want to do this because we kind of tell a story, but then we get to these two right here: innovative designer, computational thinker. Those two. You want to spend the bulk of your time on these two. What it is and why is it important? That's what these two are right here. That's what they are. What we're going to do and why is it important and how do we know when we've done it? Right there. And then how are you going to tell the world, or it says world, but the community that you're serving. So if you're going to we go back to our bus example, that the world didn't care when the bus came. And the world doesn't care about that. Your community of learners in your students in your school, they care about that. So how are you going to share that with the people it is impacting? Not necessarily the world, but how are you going to share it with the people it's impacting? So, if um, like maybe we're going to do some kind of thing to help older people understand technology, let's say. How are we going to get, you know, how are we going to get to the nanas and the papas of how are we going to, we're going to have, technology night at school? Are we going to go to people's houses? Are we going to go maybe to assisted living places and help people learn how to do Zoom? So during the pandemic, they can. If the pandemic gets worse again, they're not feeling isolated in their assisted living situation. So those kind of things. And then the collaboration part, um, that one you may or may not have somebody, but you collaborated with your friends, you STLP coordinator, your digital learning coaches, uh, your librarian, um, you're the um, person, the activities director at the assisted living community. We talked to our principal about. We talked to the lunchroom manager because kids didn't know. There wasn't really, I don't know, a way to know what good nutritional choices or whatever. Just somebody, and then right here, easy 5 points to pick up. Make sure the STLP logo is somewhere on your digital project in your presentation. And all the logos are here. You can download them, put them on there. There's all different kinds. There's this one. There's another one that has like a script Kentucky underneath of it. It can even be one that you make up. It doesn't have to be. It just has to say STLP on it somewhere. Or maybe not. Maybe let's check that. Make sure it has to be the logo. Okay, there's all kinds of them. There's all kinds. There's all kinds of logos. That one, that one, that one, that one, whatever. I would just to be safe. I would pick one on this page because it said this is them. It said here they are. So I would pick one on this page. And these are the Photoshop files if you're going to use Photoshop. But this one, that one, these are probably the two accepted ones. But that's just an easy 5 points. All right. So these are the different. So this is a guiding question that makes you an empowered learner. All right. So we did that. We talked to our people sometime between December 6th and December 10th, and we got the stamp of approval. We are moving on to level 2 semifinal. Whoop, whoop. Congratulations to you. All right. In person, digitally based, leverage creativity, utilize any formats. Leverage creativity. Remember that. It's there for a reason. All right. All right. You want to tell the best story of the project. You want to get some feedback, new knowledge. Judges only have what you provide via the link to score. Be sure to incorporate responses to each question on the level 2 rubric. Ask yourself, did I create all the various media we included in our project presentation? If not, you have documented permission from the person that did. Whoops, let's go back. All right, so sometimes this is where kids get in a little bit of trouble with this last one. They will use like probably the worst example. Well, they'll use background music that they pulled off, and they want to use background music that has something to do with their project because that's really creative. Like maybe they're going to have something about the future, and they use Fleetwood Mac's "Don't Stop Thinking About Tomorrow." Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Okay, whatever. Singing is not my best thing. And so they put that in there because it's about the future, and it's future, and we're thinking about. Well, they don't have the permission of Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham, who wrote that song, to use it in their presentation. They don't. And would have trouble getting it. So, so they have to think about that. I did have a kid one time that I was judging digital projects online, and the kid used something from Harry Potter in there. I can't remember what it was, but he emailed somebody at Warner Brothers, explained what he was using it for, and he had with his project a picture of the it wasn't email. It wasn't an email. It was a letter. He got a letter back on Warner Brothers letterhead that he could use this for this one project. So it's not impossible to get it. It just takes a little digging, especially if you're using stuff maybe from like children's books. Children's authors are really pretty good about letting you use stuff for a very defined use. If I want to use, like I did a project one time. There's a thing I can't remember. It's called the Seven Wonders of. I can't remember, but it's about this kid that he, he's studying the seven wonders of the world in his history class, and he's out to find out the seven wonders of his little community. And he's like, "Oh, there's not seven things," and he finds out all these really cool things. And I, I, as a project, I had kids make a radio interview, like because it's set in the early 20s. Like they were interviewing this kid on the radio, and I had to get permission for that. And I went, through the book to the publisher, was able to email the publisher, which got me the author's email address. And I emailed her and told her what I was doing, and she was like, "Absolutely." So like I say, it's not impossible, but you just have to dig a little bit for it. So for level 2, you want to make sure you hit all these things over here, and these are a little bit more specific than the level 1. How did the team do this? How? At level 1, this is what we're gonna do. We think we're gonna do this one. Level 2 is how did you do it? How? This is implementation. So from December to April, you have to implement what you say you're going to do. So it's all about how, what purpose, how. Presentation, don't forget your 5 points down here for your logo. It's 0 or it's 5. The digital citizenship is 0 or 10. Yeah, those two really. So you mess up these two, you're 15 points in the hole to begin with. All right. So if you pass from level 2, you are now into the exalted realm of level 3. Not many people make it here. If you're here, you've done pretty good. All right. Level 3 interview. Each team select up to 4 spokesmen. If it was me, I would only have 1 or 2 who really know this thing inside out, left, right, and sideways. And judges review the level 2 presentation before they meet because it's it's different people. Okay. And this gets really level 3 judging is a cat fight. I haven't done level 3, but um, Tanita Cobble, who works for me, does level 3 all the time. They people just because what happens is you find the best project. This is the best elementary project, and what one person thinks is the best elementary project is not necessarily what somebody else thinks. And so they got to come to a consensus on what is the best project. And the judges looked at your level 2. This is this is just talking with the judges, and it focuses on learning from students by conversation. It's not on a prepared presentation or speech. The judges ask you questions to try to get you to talk about what you know. So this is why you got to have somebody that really knows this project inside and out. Expect to have a conversation. Don't give a prepared speech. Yeah, I mean, if you can't find 4, then by all means just do 2. Maybe it's 1. Maybe there's one person that really is the best representation of it. Go for it. And then this rubric is, and you notice it's not really a rubric, it's just scoring and their notes. It's sad to say this is where this gets kind of subjective in here. But like all human beings, they do the best they can. And they there's there's one group that judges the elementary level 3, there's one group that judges middle school, there's one that judges um, the high school, and one that looks at the most technical best use of technology. And the best use of technology may not be any of the other 3 I don't even know what they 3 4 I guess. It may be separate or it may be one of those. So one team could actually win 2, but they try not to do that. If somebody wins best technology, they take the next. If somebody is the top level 3 project in their um, category, in their division, and they're also the best overall use of technology, then they pick another person from that category. Does that make sense? I don't know. Anyway, you don't win 2 things. Put that way. All right. So that is projects. The best way to think about it, find a problem, figure out a way to solve it. The closer it is to what kids would use and need, the better off it is. If they can't think of something, there may be something that um, the coach could suggest. Uh, Things you see a lot of. There's a lot of help desk type stuff. Um, the Bobcat help desk. We, give help for people on doing this, that, and another. Um, Broadcasts are always a big one. News and things, which has its place. There's just a lot of them. It's judges have seen them, so it's hard to stand out in that thing. But and there's a lot of different creativity things, and don't let the inability to do something or not know how to do something keep you from doing a project. For example, if you were going to do something and I can't think of right offhand something it would be, but you needed an app to do it. So well, we could do this and this and so, and then we'd have an app on the phone, and people could, and you go, oh, we don't know how to code an app. Don't let that dissuade you. Um, Part of it is collaboration. So what you could do is go to, for example, North Bullet has a app development class. They make Apple apps. We went to the high school class at North Bullet and asked them if they could help us do this because they know how to code things that we don't know how to do. That's perfectly acceptable. That's collaboration. You know, we needed to have, um, I don't know, we needed to have something built for us. I can't even think of what you would need. So we went we needed to get a drone to take a picture of our entire school campus so we could figure out a way to make a walking trail. So we went to the aviation class at the ATC and they brought their drone over and they took a picture of our campus for us with their drone. That's collaboration. And then, well, then we took that picture and blew it up so we could figure out how the best way to lay out a walking trail that had um, markers on it so that you can do fitness, whatever. I don't know. I'm kind of thing, but the idea is don't let the fact that you don't know how to do a certain thing in technology or you don't have a certain thing like you need a to do this project we would need a camera, you know I don't know, some kind of woodland camera. A Don't let those kind of things deter you from doing the project. Those, that part can come, but and in you know, your pitch, you can say, well, we're going to see if we can't partner with some of the students at our local high school to help us do thus and so. Or the electrical um, class at the ATC can do such and such for us, or, whatever. So don't let those kinds of things deter you just because you don't know how to do something, part of the project is learning. We had to learn how to use SketchUp so we could do such. We had to learn how to use Tinker so we could use a 3D printer. We don't have a 3D printer at our school, but we went to Bullet Central or we went to Bullet Lick, and they have. Bullet Lick has four of them, so they let us borrow. They ran these things for us or whatever. So think of cooperation that way, collaboration. Um, like I said, the first project, the elevator pitch, concise, and it's a lot of this is what we're gonna do. This is what we want to do, and then try to be a little bit creative in your use of technology so that you kind of stand out a little bit um, in your presentations. Maybe instead of just using a Google slideshow, we make, we kind of stretch a little bit. Maybe we use, um, I don't know, there's some other things that they're Pear Deck or um, different things. Or we use you can use Adobe Spark video or just different things just to make it stand out a little bit. So that's the way you can. That's what projects are. If you have any questions, really feel free to reach out to me, and I'll help you all that I can. And if I don't know the answer, I'm a trained librarian. I don't know all the answers, but I know where to find them. So, everybody have a great day.